Alrighty, week 16 learned together. Not a big surprise, probably, given what we did in week 15, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your code from week 15, and I want you to refactor it. And that's really what we saw as I reflect upon the code that we went through, the concepts that we covered during this section, because these three concepts of how to handle asynchronous JavaScript callbacks, promises, and async await are really what we spend about the last part of the class when you take Node.js. So don't feel bad if after walking through this, it still seems fuzzy. It probably should, or will. Can't say which for you. But here's what you need to do, right? And I kind of reflected upon this last time, but where we use the XML HTTP request, refactor that. So refactor means basically accomplish the same output, but use new functionality. And you're going to use fetch here, right? And then from callbacks, and actually there is still some promise code that is in there. And really, here's the key. Don't jump over promises just to get to async await, okay? Not that you would, and maybe I shouldn't even set it, but still, because in order to really appreciate async await, you really must understand promises because you're still using it. And in my example, what I did, I still had to use promises, the not then concept, okay? So you're going to refactor callbacks into async await. You're going to add a button. Now this is the part that's not that new, but a little. Add a button to get the to-dos from the JSON placeholder. And then here's the piece you've kind of seen me add lately. Adding some additional functionality to this output. Now you added some last week, so now add some more, right? Maybe it's the output, maybe it's the way it looks, maybe it's the function. So in this case, I want to show you just the base output you needed to create is that have a button that does a async call to go out to there, grab those, get those through fetch, handle the call, what comes back, handle the await, do the await to get the data back, present it down to the page, or present it in the page. So what could you add, right? Well, you could just make the output look a little better, for sure. You could add some functionality very much like anything we saw inside the to-do app that he already did. You could actually store these in local storage and then give the ability to add some more on top of it. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff. You could add a button here that shows complete or not, and then it would mark these as complete. So I just want you to take this concept, and I'm going to update this because this is going to be worth 20 points of this work. So that it gets you thinking about, because remember, right, I've already previewed my draft of the last dev requirements. And if you choose to do something like make an API call, the one thing I want you to think about is some additional functionality you can add into it. Because as I was looking at this today, and I'm just going to switch gears just for a moment here to go over and look at Dev 2, as I was rereading, right, find an API that we've not used in this class, which, by the way, Andrew actually introduced another one today, which was finding your country location based on the IP, or actually even the city. Now, if you want to use any of the APIs that you've seen so far, that's cool, but you'll have to make multiple calls of APIs that you haven't used. And I can't imagine at this point, but if you want to discuss that, please let me know. But find an API that we've not used, right? And now I could add to that the other one about the IP to country, city, and implement it using async await or promises. And I could have said and promises. And handle the result by presenting to the user focused way, data in a user focused way. So what does this mean? It means make it look nice. And I want to, and this is the part I'm kind of rolling around in my head, is add something else to this, right? It's kind of like what I'm asking you to do for this week. So again, this may have an added bonus, not extra credit, but just added requirement on this one, because I really want to see you reflect on the things that we've learned so far about how to handle the user input, and think of all the ways, depending on the API, if you choose the second path, that once you get that data, that how can you use it in an app concept, okay? Okay, so just reflecting back on Dev 2, because this is our next to our last, right? So we're at week 16. All we have is a week 17. And by the way, I'll just go ahead and preview this here. There's nothing here, because I'm going to have you choose your own an hour of content from somewhere, YouTube, wherever else you want to get it, that would help you deepen your knowledge in an area to help you do Dev 2. Okay, so I'm going to let you choose here. I'll go ahead and write up this requirement so you'll know what that is. Okay, write up the written instructions is what I mean by that. Okay, I think that's it. I think that gives you enough for what you need to do to complete for this week. And I will have a schedule for the last week that our classes, so you can sign up for code review sessions. Okay? All right, talk to you later. Bye.